Good morning, student. Today in this video, we're going to discuss about iron deficiency anemia. Iron deficiency anemia is a very huge topic, and we're going to complete this particular topic in two videos. So in this video, we're going to see what is iron deficiency anemia, what are the etiological factors for the iron deficiency anemia, what are the signs and symptoms of iron deficiency anemia, and we're going to concentrate about iron metabolism in our body. So let's start. So iron deficiency anemia is the most commonest form of anemia in the worldwide, and it is followed by anemia due to chronic disease. And in iron deficiency anemia is nothing but in case of iron deficiency anemia, there is a loss of total body iron or total body iron concentration is reduced in the body. So this kind of anemia, yes, it is in relationship with the reduced concentration of iron, which will lead to reduced red cell mass and alternatively followed by reduce in the oxygen carrying capacity. Uh, in this kind of anemia, in which the iron which is required for the formation of hemoglobin, especially the heme part of the hemoglobin, has been supplied less, leading to iron deficiency anemia. So, what are the cutoff points? Like, what are, I've told you before also, but then this is just a brush up. So, we'll see, like, I've told you the condition of anemia in which the concentration of hemoglobin is reduced. So, in case of adult, if you are finding like the concentration of hemoglobin is less than 13 gram per dl, and in a female it is 12 gram per dl. Subsequently, in pregnant women, children below 14 years of age. So in this, if the concentration of anemia is below in these kind of than these reference range, then that condition is anemia. So there are three important parameters to define anemia. See, as I've told you before, not only hemoglobin, but then hematocrit percentage, which is also called as Paxil volume or RBC count. So these are also important parameters for defining different types of anemia. So as we talk about iron deficiency anemia is the most commonest form of anemia, and it is usually due to deficiency of iron in your diet. So that leads to the decreased production of hemoglobin, especially the heme part of the hemoglobin. So what are the daily requirements? So if a person is below 4 months, then they require zero point 0.5 mg of iron per day. Similarly, in infant, it is 1 mg, pregnant 4 mg, menstruating female 3 mg, and adult male and postmenopausal is 1 mg. So these are the daily requirements of iron, and it has to be taken in a daily diet. So yes, we are taking if we are taking iron in our daily diet. So what are the particular distribution of iron which is there in our body? So if we talk about distribution of our iron concentration in our body, it is basically divided into two broad subjects. One is functional pool, other one is storage pool. So whatever iron which we have in our body is divided into two pools. One is functional pool, other one is storage pool. So functional pools are nothing but which is still on the use. The iron concentration which we have in our body that are still in our use, and storage pool is nothing but the amount of iron which we have in our body, half of which is been stored. So if we talk about functional pool, we have hemoglobin, we have myoglobin, we have heme and non-heme enzymes, we have transferrin. So these are nothing but, say, for example, like hemoglobin. Hemoglobin is a protein which is there inside the RBC, which contains a maximum amount of iron, which is around 65, which is 65% of functional pool of iron is there present in our hemoglobin. Similarly, in myoglobin is nothing but the iron which is there in the muscle. So it is around 3.5%. And then heme and non-heme enzymes. There are enzymes which also contains require iron. The example like cytochrome, catalase, peroxidase. This contains around zero point 0.5 amount of iron. And then transferrin bound iron. So transferrin bound iron is nothing but we used to call it as circulating iron. The transferrin is one form of glycoprotein which binds with that iron and help in transportation of iron from one area to another area. So The transferrin bound iron is also there, which consists about 0.5% of storage functional pool of iron. So these are all functional pool of iron. As a functional pool में hemoglobin, myoglobin, हीम एंड नॉन हीम एंजाइम्स एंड ट्रांसफरिन. तो ये सभी जो है इनके पास भी सम फॉर्म ऑफ आयरन है, लेकिन ये लोग सब फंक्शनिंग फॉर्म में है, फंक्शनल फॉर्म में है. बट इफ यू टॉक अबाउट स्टोरेज फॉर्म, देयर आर टू फॉर्म्स ऑफ आयरन. वन इज हेमोसिडेरिन and ferritin. Ferritin and hemosiderin are the two storage form of iron. They contain 30% of iron, which of the total iron, and they are stored in the phagocytic cells of spleen, liver, bone marrow, and also in the parenchymal cell of the liver. So because of which we used to say, like, even if your functional pool of iron is depleted, it has been replenished by the storage form. And if the storage form is completely exhaust off, then only a person will show a sign and symptoms of iron deficiency anemia. So what kind of how iron is absorbed in our body, and what are the sources of iron? So there are two sources of iron, heme and non-heme iron. So you can see here, all those non-vegetable form of iron are called as heme iron, and others are non-heme iron. So non-heme iron may rice, spinach, black beans, corn. So these are the rich sources of non-heme iron. And if you talk about heme iron, which has liver, fish muscles, and all that are rich in heme iron. So iron observation, like body sources, food sources which we are having, a standard Western diet contains around 10 to 25 mg of iron per day, but then the absorptions are a little bit lesser. Absorption usually occurs in small intestine, which has been enhanced by gastric acid. But if there is any kind of inflammation in that area, which also inhibit the absorption of iron. So most dietary iron is especially non-heme iron, so less than 5% of bioavailability, and less than 10% dietary iron is heme form. So more than 25% of bioavailability. So depends upon like what kind of person takes a diet, but then standard for like depends upon person is vegetarian and non-vegetarian also. So as we talk about transferrin, I have told you before, transferrins are nothing but these are a form of glycoprotein which help in transportation of uh, iron from one place to another place. So it carries less than 1% of total body iron. And ferritin and hemosiderin, I told you, these are the storage form of iron, which are usually been stored in liver, spleen, and other areas. How the body how the iron loss? So in what way the iron get lost from our body? So closely around less than 0.05% of iron has been lost per day normally, and it get lost from urine, through the skin, and through urinary tract, intestinal tract, in form of in form of, also in a form of sweat. So if you talk about pathogenesis of iron deficiency anemia, see I've told you before, iron deficiency anemia only occurs when the storage form of iron is also exhausted. So initially, if there is negative iron balances in our body, so that can be maintained by mobilization of storage form of iron in the form of creatine and hemosiderin, and then try to compensate with the loss. But then if the storage form is completely exhausted, then only the signs and symptoms of iron deficiency anemia develops. So it can depend upon various factors, like if there is increased blood loss, uncontrolled blood loss, or if there is increased requirement of iron, or inadequate diet intake, if socioeconomic status of the particular person or an area, or even if you take a sufficient amount of iron in your diet, there is decreased intestinal absorption. When there is some effect in your inflammation, or any kind of effect in your intestinal areas, especially in the small intestine, wherein even if you take a sufficient amount of iron in your diet, it is not been absorbed properly. So what are the causative factors for iron deficiency anemia? As we have discussed already, iron deficiency anemia can be caused by increased blood loss. So in what way a person can increase blood loss? Maybe if there is, if we talk about uterine system example, like if there is excessive menstruation in the reproductive years, or there is repeated miscarriage, or postmenopausal uterine bleeding is there. And if we talk about GI tract, if somebody is suffering from hookworm infestation or cancer in the stomach, or if somebody is suffering from peptic ulcer, so that can lead to increased blood loss. And if we talk about renal tract, maybe like if somebody is having hematuria or hemoglobin urea. So hematuria and hemoglobin urea is nothing but presence of RBC in the urine, or presence of hemoglobin in the urine. And if we talk about especially the nose area, if somebody is suffering with repeated nose bleeding, that can can also lead to iron deficiency anemia. And if you talk about lungs and hemoptysis, if somebody is coughing, and if you see a blood stain in the sputum, that can also lead to iron deficiency anemia. And increased requirement, yes, the requirement can be increased in the case of growing infancy or child or adolescent age. And if somebody is pregnant or a lactating mother, so in that case there is an increased requirement of iron, which has to be supplied through a daily diet. So, and then the most important etiological causes of iron deficiency anemia is inadequate dietary intake. So the because of socioeconomic status or poor economic status, if they're not getting a sufficient amount of diet which are rich in iron, that can be the case. Or any kind of anorexia, somebody is pregnant, if they don't feel like having anything. And some elderly patient in which there is some kind of poor dental areas wherein she cannot chew or food properly, or that can be the cases in case of inadequate dietary intake. So last but not the least is diet decreased absorption. The decreased absorptions are nothing but if you are taking a sufficient amount of iron in your diet, you could not be able to absorb it. So that can be the most important cause of iron deficiency anemia. So it can occur in if somebody has gone through partial or total gastrectomy, removal of particular area on the stomach. If there is intestinal malabsorption, if the area celiac disease, somebody is suffering from intestinal malabsorption also, that can lead to iron deficiency anemia. So these are, the important etiological factors that can lead to iron deficiency anemia. So, this is till here we'll complete in this video. In next video, we're going to concentrate on, lab diagnosis and treatment of iron deficiency anemia. If you have any form of questions, or if you could not be able to understand anything, do comment in the comment box. Thank you.